A press release by Hip City Innovation Center on the occasion of the celebration of the International Day of Peace with the theme Shaping Peace Together. In 1981, the United Nations General Assembly, through the Resolution 55282, established the International Day of Peace, and in 2001 set a day aside calling for a global ceasefire and non-violence. The day is celebrated on the 21st of September yearly with guiding themes, and that of International Day of Peace 2020 is Shaping Peace Together, which coincides with the UN's 75th anniversary. And the message encourages global conversations about the collective future and peace of the world. This year's International Day of Peace comes at a time when the world is battling with the novel coronavirus, which has no respect for geographical boundaries, economy, power, etc., and has forced almost all countries of the world to lock down and distance physically. The virus reminded us of humanity, the power of unity, and the essence of peace. It demonstrated to all, even the biggest and largest economies of the world, how we can tackle a common problem through dialogue and collaboration. It ushered in a new paradigm of thinking, and on March 23, 2020, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for a global ceasefire. In his speech, he stated, "Our world faces a common enemy, COVID-19. The virus does not care about ethnicity or nationality, faction, or faith. It attacks all relentlessly." Meanwhile, armed conflict rages on around the world, with the most vulnerable being women and children, people living with disabilities, the marginalized, the displaced. All of these people pay the highest price. They are also at the highest risk of suffering devastating losses from COVID-19. Let's not forget that in war-ravaged countries like Nigeria, health systems have collapsed. Health professionals, already few in number, have also often been targeted by these armed groups. Refugees and other displaced by violent conflict are doubly vulnerable. The fury of the virus illustrates the folly of war. End the violence and end the sickness of war, and fight the disease that is ravaging our world. That is why today I am calling for an immediate global ceasefire in all corners of the world. It is time to put armed conflict on lockdown and focus together on the true fight of our lives. To warring parties, I say, pull back from hostilities, put aside mistrust and animosity, silence the guns, stop the artillery, end the airstrikes, he said. These are difficult times that we live in. Livelihoods have been greatly affected. Schools have been on lockdown. Rising incidences in gender-based violence and abuses. A recent report by the Gates Foundation revealed that extreme poverty has increased by 7%, pushing almost 37 million people below the poverty line, according to the report. The report further mentions that we have been set aback about 25 years in about 25 weeks. These are the realities that we live in as at today. The world battles the coronavirus pandemic alongside other global viruses of racism and the epidemic in a pandemic called sexual and gender-based violence, which continues to spread like wildfire. In many parts of North America and Europe, we have witnessed the surge in the targeted killings of Black people, which has resulted to mass protests and the launch of the Black Lives Matter campaign, which has gained popularity and attention globally, even in Nigeria. Between February and May 2020, the Nigerian police force recorded 717 rape cases across the country. We observed the many cases of domestic violence videos across our social media platforms. These large numbers of cases is only but a drop in the ocean compared to the incidences that have gone unreported. During the lockdown, the gruesome rape and killing of Wela and Barakat, among many others, led to the call for the declaration of a state of emergency against gender-based violence by civil rights groups. The infringement of rights of individuals and the near neglect of government to protect lives and properties continue to fuel hate and apprehension in the Nigerian state. The never-ending farmer-herder crisis continues to claim lives with no solution in sight. Innocent Nigerians are slaughtered like animals daily in southern Kaduna. Kidnappers are running riot and operating with disdain. Citizens are pushed back from expressing their concerns by state actors. The emasculation of the press are the realities the common man faces daily, and this is contributing to the lack of peace experienced today in Nigeria. At a time where we're charged to shape peace together, we must take time to think about the so many ways we have fostered hatred instead of peace in our various spheres of influence, either as state or non-state actors. In our daily interaction, we grapple with tribalism and ethnicity, religious intolerance and bigotry, sexual preference intolerance, religious segregation, and in many African countries, xenophobia. Sexism and the many isms we display through actions and words make our lack of love and tolerance glaring. The distrust between the government and the masses due to sundry reasons further compounds the high state of lawlessness in our country. As we shape peace together from now going forward, we call on government and individuals to spread compassion, hope, kindness, love. The government must live up to its expectation by enacting laws that promote sustainable development for its people. The government must eschew all forms of impunity, executive rascality, and respect for rule of law. It must ensure to treat all, irrespective of tribe, religion, and gender, with dignity, respect, and equal opportunity. We also call on all citizens to be patriotic and to seek non-violence means of resolving conflicts. And indeed, we can, in unison, fight against all forms of violence and war in our society and world at large, and enthrone peace. As we wrap up this press statement, I leave you with the word of John F. Kennedy, which says, "Peace does not rest in the charters and covenants alone. It lies in the hearts and minds of all people. So let us not rest all our hopes on parchment and on paper. Let us strive to build peace, have a desire for peace, a willingness to work for peace in the hearts and minds of all our people." I believe that we can. I believe that the problems of human destiny are not beyond the reach of human beings. More than ever, let this word remind us today the importance of peace and togetherness. Happy International Day of Peace.